Okay, so in the previous video we edited some photos. Now we're going to change the stacking order of objects. So the objects on a slide stack on top of each other, kind of like cards on a deck. If you've ever played around with Photoshop, you'll notice everything's in layers, and layers go on top of other layers, which go on top of other layers that provide, and then are kind of just flattened out. So like for example, if we go up here, you'll notice that we've got our text here, okay? This is the bottom layer, or the bottom object on the stack. Then we've got the second layer here, and then you can see that this is on top of both of them. If you move it, it's on top of this as well as on top of this. So you can kind of see that they're like, that each object is like stacked on top of each other like cards. So we're going to be changing up the stacking order a little bit. So we're going to go to slide 1 here, and we've got our object here where that's pretty much covering everything underneath it. If you move it, you'll see Spokes Bike Club is underneath it. It's like putting, as I said, cards on top of each other. So we are going to select this photo, and in the Picture Tools Format tab, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the Send Backward Photo, and then we're going to send to back. So this layer is going to go all the way to the back. So now everything that was underneath it is now on top of it. So if you ever insert an image and you want to use it as a background, that's sometimes what you have to do, is you have to cover it up and then you have to change send to back. Now if I wanted to bring this back to front, I could go to bring to front, and it would do the same thing. But we're going to go ahead and send it back to back. Now the bring forward and send it backward, what that means is when you press bring forward, it brings it up one layer. Instead of from the front to the back, it goes up one layer. So say for example, you have 26 layers or 26 different cards or 26 different objects stacked on each other. The 23rd layer, if you want it to be on, to where layer 3 is, you could press bring forward 20 times to get there. Or if you wanted to bring on top, you just bring forward or bring to front, and it'll go right on top. So hopefully that makes sense. So what we did was we took this image and we sent it to back. Okay, so now we're going to be modifying placeholders. So with slide 1 displaying, we're going to click somewhere in the title text paragraphs position, the insert point in the placeholder. So this is the title placeholder here. You can tell because it has little dots around it with some sizing handles. We are going to click the border of the title text to select it. So now it's a solid line. And we're going to point to the top middle size handle, and then we're going to make it a little bit bigger here. So we're going to resize this. Now we're going to align paragraph text. So alignments, you might be familiar with this from Microsoft Word, but you can align text depending on which area of the margin you want. So by default, text is aligned left, meaning that it's aligned on this side. Now if I wanted to align right, it would align on this side. If I wanted to center align, it would be centered. And if I wanted to justify, basically what it does is it stretches it out based off of your margins. It aligns to both the left and right borders. Okay, so we are going to align right. Now we're going to move a placeholder, and the reason why we might do this is if we want to put it into a different area of a slide, we can move it to a new location. These placeholders are not stuck here. We can move them around. So now we're going to be clicking on the border of the title 1 or the slide 1 title text placeholder, and what we're going to do is we're going to drag it upward and to the right. So we're going to select this upward and to the right, kind of where it's on the end here. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the subtitle placeholder, and you've done this previously in the project. You're going to select it and just press the delete key on your keyboard. So we've got our title slide, Spokes Bike Club, with our photo in the background. Now we're going to change views. So we want to check it for balance consistency. So we're going to go to View, Slide Sorter. And previously, I've mentioned in previous videos that you can move slides in different orders here. You can also change on the reading view, and you can see what it looks like from there. If you press Next, which is down here, it's kind of like the presentation view. You can see what goes on. It looks like we need to change some things. So to end it, we're going to press Escape. And now we're going to go back to our normal view.